Yeah, it's studio Regina, thank you. And Alex Woodward, you've got the next interview for us.
Thank you very much. I'll be interviewing Jade Brewer next, one of the two candidates for Sports President. Before we interview her, let's find out what the Sports President does.
York Sport President. The York Sports President is the main point of contact for all university and college sport clubs. They coordinate and develop sport within USU and work to increase opportunities and participation.
Okay, hi Jade. First of all, what background do you have with regards to sport in York?
So when I came to York, started off in a keen swimming perspective. Like before uni, I was like big on swimming. So I thought, come back, drill it in, big swimming. Then I saw cheerleading bows and I was like, oh no, here we go. So I went for swimming, cheerleading all through my time at uni. In the uni sport, I've also done a bit of tried out college netball, wasn't as good as everyone else, wish I was. Did some rounders, some football. I've dabbled in all, to be fair. But my committee positions, first year I was on swimming and water polo. This year I'm president of cheerleading and I've been on the York Sport Union Committee for 2 years, which has been so much fun.
Brilliant. So do you think the fact that Maddie Cannell, your opponent, the fact that she's been in the position for a year already could give her a boost, or do you think your experience can match that?
So obviously on first look you do think, oh no, Maddie's already done it for a year, like should I still be going for it? But then I think because I've been on the committee for the York Sport Union Committee for 2 years, that's given me the chance to look at two different presidents' perspectives, what they've done, what went well, what didn't go too well, and taking what I've learned from those 2 years and then adding my own new twist to it, like my new ideas, my new changes that I want to try and make York sport better. So in effect, I think it not only might level it out, but maybe even push me a little bit more because I've been given like that chance to look at two different sports pres.
Brilliant. And looking back at the current academic year that we're in, if you were sports president, what would you have done differently?
So I think really it's focusing on college sports. So there has been a lot of upset with college sport, which has been like quite unfortunate really. And I think that has been due to a lack of communication from USU and like college sport ambassadors and the chairs themselves. So like this is actually one of my main points is I want to improve communication with college sport by welcoming them to a meeting. But instead of this meeting be USU splurting out loads of information, it can be us telling them what we might discuss, them coming to us with suggestions prior to the meeting so they already know what's going on, they can suggest changes and they have an actual role in what's going on instead of USU deciding for them.
Brilliant. So going into your manifesto, one of your big points is improving the welfare of student athletes by getting, and this is a quote, at least one welfare officer to be elected per committee with professional training given at the beginning of the year, end quote. How will you go about getting this?
So this is one of like my favourite points from my manifesto because I can relate to it personally. So like I said, came in doing swimming and both cheerleading at uni level, tried to do other sports. Physically could not do it. Like you come here, you want to do all the, like we've got so many different sports, you want to do them all. You want to have a social life, you want to go out with your friends. You also have a degree, surprisingly enough, but you just can't manage it. And what we did in cheerleading this year, we actually introduced a welfare officer. And in my opinion, it really worked, like really well. And this is something we didn't have in swimming, so that's why I thought maybe we can try and get this so every club committee has one. And the one thing we were lacking with our welfare officer this year was that she didn't receive professional training from USU. And so this is something I want to supply to everyone, the opportunity, not only just for sports clubs, if societies want to have a welfare officer already do and they want to have professional training, they're more than welcome to come because we need to look after our athletes. You know, they can only do so much. They need to be having like player safety, first aid, time management, knowing that they need to eat before they go to training, having enough sleep, because these are the little things that athletes do forget when they've got such a busy schedule.
Yeah, okay, so you also talk about employability. Sorry, let me get the exact quote up here. Quote, employability training for outgoing committee members given at the end of the year. So what problem is this addressing and how will your proposal fix it?
So I wouldn't say it's really addressing a problem. It's just a kind of like added idea I had. Like, you go to uni, you take on this committee position, you do so much work for a year, maybe more. And it's like, okay, so you've just done this amazing thing. You've helped out your club. You took your own time to be president of a committee or like a club. And it's like, what can you get out of that? So it's looking, after you graduate from uni, applying for jobs. You can put that on your CV, but that employer doesn't know what that is, what a social secretary is, or what that involves. Like, it's much more than just putting on socials every Wednesday. And I want to give everyone a chance to really make the most of their committee position into not only like in their uni career, but their career outside of uni.
So another one of your proposals is improving communication between college sport ambassadors. For those who don't know, what is the current system in which college sport ambassadors communicate, and how do you hope to improve it?
So as I'm aware, with USU and college sport ambassadors, they have meetings that run like maybe like 3 weeks between when they meet. And this is kind of just them being informed with the goings on. So like when Varsity comes around, obviously that's a big college sport event. So they need to know, you know, what kind of events are happening, when, where, and like basically the goings on with college sport and what USU can do helping that.
Okay, so a lot of colleges recently have expressed concerns around the treatment of college sport by USU. How would you rebuild trust with these colleges who feel a bit disconnected?
Listening to them, really. That is the one thing that I think we're lacking, is giving them a platform for them to express their opinions where they're not feeling it's forced by someone else. Like, I think even if you're not on a position in the committee of your college, I think there should still be a platform where everyone gets a say. College sport ambassadors, you know, they file that information together, then they can come to USU and we can all openly talk about suggestions and changes.
So what are your plans with regards to how sports and clubs get funding?
So this one really, I really want to try and give clubs the support that they need. So I would love, like, at the end of term 3 to send out kind of like a questionnaire to each club committee where they can tell me what things they did in their current year, like what needed costs with estimated prices. Then they can try and estimate their next year for the next committee, so together, saying what they're planning to do next year, any changes, because obviously you can't base a club on what they did in their previous year because there's going to be a new president, a new committee with whole different ideas. So I want to give them the funding that they need for that given year. So it's really just getting an idea of what they want to do, seeing how I can best help that and match it.
Okay, so you talk about a varsity push in your manifesto with an emphasis on the home qualifiers, obviously playing away next year. How do you hope to engage York students with varsity, both with qualifiers and the event in Durham?
So, yes, because it is away next year, the main event on campus is the qualifiers. So I would love this to be a similar atmosphere to Roses when we have stalls around, we have lots of merch packs and everyone coming down to just support their teams. Then, yes, this obviously does cause an issue. It does every year for trying to get that same amount of spectators to go visit and watch the Varsity in Durham. So I really want to look into making affordable transport that will benefit not only athletes but also supporters, for giving them a reason to go watch. Because obviously money, like, students don't have a lot of money. So I really want to make it so they're getting the most of it, whether we like throw in some extra merch, you know. I know we've done Revs wristbands in the past, but really it's talking to them and seeing what they would want from it, not just chucking in random things that they might not want and they're paying more for it.
Okay, so we're coming to the end of our debate now or interview, and can I have you to summarise your campaign in a sentence, please?
So if you're looking for someone new, something new, and someone who is looking out for your best interests, then you should definitely vote newer. Vote Jade Brewer.
Thank you very much. That's Jade Brewer, running for Sports President, coming up against Maddie Canal, who will be interviewed later on URY. Thank you very much, Jade, for joining me, and I take it back to Matt.
Thank you, Maddie.